Shalom, friends. I want to share with you a brief passage from a drasha from Eish Kodesh of the Piaseczner Rebbe from Parshat Eikev, Tafshin Aleph in the summer of 1941, where after discussing the fact, or alluding to the fact in a somewhat opaque way, as is his manner, that young Torah students and scholars are being killed by the Nazis, he mentions that for many years before the war, there were on the one hand Hasidic kids who were leaving the fold, so to speak, or we'd say today, going off the derech. But there were also kids from, he says, miavot hedyatiot, from sort of, I guess, balabatish families that were religious maybe, but not so religious, who were giving up a lot in order to become what he calls Hasidim and B'nai Torah. And we know more than that. We know from a newspaper article that in the Rebbe's big Hasidic yeshiva, Das Moshe, that there were actually Balei Tshuva. There were actually kids from non-religious families, he says, from Bundist families where their homes weren't even kosher. So that was a trend before the war, that there was on the one hand a lot of people leaving Yiddishkeit, but there were also young people who were getting much stronger. And so it's not only in Piaseczner, we know in Breslov there was a huge renaissance in Poland before the Holocaust, etc. But he says, but that's not the case anymore. Today, during the Holocaust, in the Warsaw Ghetto, because of the suffering, there are people who are leaving, but he says, but there's not even a single kid who would come from a non-religious family or a somewhat religious family to become more religious. So that's just an interesting historical note that I want to share with you, which the most interesting part about it is about the Balei Tshuva from before the war. So that's, as I said, it's a tangent, it's a historical point. It's important for us to understand the background the Rebbe was working in Poland. And, it's, as when I first started learning the Rebbe's teachings many, many decades ago, and felt that they were so relevant to today. So, today as well, we have, all sorts of directions, people becoming more religious, less religious, people becoming Hasidic, people leaving the Hasidic world, everything, we have all the trends that are going on. And it's good for us to look back at what the Rebbe wrote, his, close awareness of reality and his educational principles that he discusses mostly in Chovat Talmidim, Student's Obligation, and the later books in that series, and try to understand how we can apply his teachings for good education in our days. So let us have good, happy tidings, and I wish everyone the best. Many brachot, kol tuv, bye-bye.